Ho, 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 and welcome to a very special Christmas episode of Remove Film from Trey. I apologize for that. Hello, CyRaptor. You're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Did we
Hello,
start?
Count. Yeah, we started.
Ho, 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 ho,
I already did that.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We should have
Wait,
discussed
did you
this
do an
ahead
intro
of
and
time.
I wasn't audible to me?
Yeah,
What the
I
hell
always
just
do
happened?
that.
Oh,
Every time. I know you haven't been on as
Merry
much.
Christmas,
how's
CyRaptor.
it going, people?
Going good.
it's all right.
All right, well, getting right into
It's
it.
best you're
It's
getting
the
out of
holidays,
me.
everyone.
It is the holidays.
Happy holidays to my fellow Americans.
We have
All right, see you in 20 minutes.
a few Christmas things to discuss, but first, I wanted to talk about Return of Ultraman. I've been watching this. I've been working on watching this for months. I still have like 10 episodes to go, so just a partial discussion of this very divisive show. It divided me. And Count has seen a handful of episodes that are good.
Yeah, I watched the Autumn Renaissance. That's what it was called, right?
Yeah.
I
So
watched the Autumn Renaissance episodes of Return of Ultraman. They were very good.
I've seen the original Ultraman, and I like it a lot. I've seen Ultra 7, and I love it. And then this is the third Ultraman show. It's the first one after Eiji Tsuburaya's death. You alright?
It's the third Ultraman show, period.
Well, it's the fourth if you count Ultra Q, which I guess you should,
Okay.
but yeah.
Which is the only one I've ever seen. Like,
I
all the
thought
way
you were going to
through.
say it was the third one that you've seen.
No.
Okay.
It's the third period. It's really, really, really low budget, like compared especially to Ultra 7. A lot of the monsters just like look pretty bad. There's not a lot of variety in like the environments, or like a lot of good model work. Like it eventually picks up like, okay, the first chunk of episodes is about the guy who's Ultraman, Hideki Go. He dies and gets resurrected by Ultraman, and then for that reason he joins the monster attack team, Matt. They're like, oh, it would be good to have a guy who came back from the dead. So we should take him. He doesn't have any other qualifications. The first like 6 or 7 episodes is all about Go fucking up, and then the whole team is like, Go, you suck. Why are you even here? And that really was stressful and annoying and just like got old. Seemed like a bad way to introduce a bunch of characters. Like, what is it, 9 and 10 count were Simons?
That's the Tsunami one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 and
Oh,
14.
13 and 14, yeah. Like, those are the first really good episodes, I thought. A lot of the early episodes are not very science fiction. They're, like, it has science fiction trappings, obviously. Like, there's a space beneficent alien, like,
Right.
fighting monsters, but like there's no, like, it's not science fiction in the way that like it uses a weird thing to say something about society, right? Like there's no themes. It's just
Yeah, there's
it's-
no it's from space for the sake of being from space, but for not any sort of moral
Yeah.
or like metaphorical reason.
yeah, it's just kind of like blue collar, like this government organization fighting monsters. Pretty weird. And some of the episodes are fun, some of them are boring. I've read a lot of like when I was having a hard time with the show, I was looking up like, does this show suck? Is this bad? And I couldn't find anything. Like, nobody agreed with me that it was bad. Everyone on Reddit is like, it's Hideaki Anno's favorite. There's not a bad episode, which is not true at all. There are some just junk episodes. It feels more like it's for kids, like the cheapness of it, and then also there's like a recurring kid character, which has never been before, but also at the same time it's also like weirdly dark at times. Like
I felt it was for everyone, and I could see the appeal after reading on the articles that like adults were eating this up.
Yeah.
It sounds like Godzilla's Revenge to me.
Well, there is kind of a Godzilla's Revenge episode. Like, there's a kid. He gets a like space rock and it goes in his wall and turns his apartment building into a monster. And he's like raising the monster.
There's some great. A kid gets like his throat slit in this or shot out, right? It's really good. There's some.
Well, he's an alien.
He's an alien, but he's a child. He's played by a child.
Like halfway through the show,
it's an alien.
They switch the like chief of the monster attack team gets switched, and I like that's kind of the point where the show starts to get really good consistently, I think. So I recommend, if you watch the show, find a essential episodes list. I don't know, maybe I'll make one, but when I finish it. But
as someone who picked and choose, just do that to start, and then if you're desperate to see the other episodes, do that. There was an article that mentioned the Autumn Renaissance. I think that's how they phrase it exactly, right? So if you Google Return of Ultraman Autumn Renaissance, you'll find like a good article to start with.
Yeah. Like 31 to 38 are considered like the best episodes. I think 27 is like unbelievably good too. But so it's not, I don't know. It's a little more complicated than one stretch, but it's a good show. It just took a while to get going.
The good episodes anyway. And Go is cool and he's handsome.
He is, yeah. And again, in the early episodes, like his hair is just flat. Like he has this like side swept, sort of semi-long hair, and it's just like laying on his head, and he looks like junk. It got some volume in it later, so.
And we watched the Christmas episode last night, which is 37-38. And that is some dark shit. There's 2 episodes, so I would recommend at least those.
Yeah.
I mean, you might want to watch a few others to like kind of understand the importance of those characters.
Let's talk about this. If you don't want this spoiled, big spoiler of show.
Yeah, can we talk about this?
Skip ahead like 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, a bit. Scrub for a different thumbnail on the YouTube search. So in the show, Go has like a best friend who the little kid is the brother of, and then he has a girlfriend. And in episode,
all 3 of them are siblings, though, right? The girl, the little kid, and
yeah, they are. You're right. Okay. Like in 37 and 38, the aliens fucking run over his girlfriend and his friend with a car and just kill them. Which like there has never been a character on Ultraman who has just died. So that's a new concept. It's very dark. Like it feels, they were apparently just like gonna leave the show anyway, and it kind of feels like that. It's a little rushed, but it's, I don't know. You wouldn't get the shock of it if you hadn't watched the first 36 episodes. But
I was fairly shocked by it, and even have just seen a couple of the other episodes. I was like, they're killing these people off. I thought that maybe one of them would survive. The brother seemed for sure dead. I thought that the girlfriend would pull through. So for an alien just to come along and not like as a monster or a gun or anything, just runs them over and they die is pretty intense.
But
So check that out.
it's so on the note of it being Ano's favorite series. Ano, of course.
Wait. Can I before you put away the poster?
Yes.
Can I ask a question about the monster on the right?
That's Twin Tail.
Is that like a rust monster bogan? Am I perceiving that correctly?
The head is on the bottom. Yeah, it's like an
Right.
earwig, kind of, with that like walks on its head.
Okay, I looked it up.
That's one of the better and more iconic creatures
thank
of the
you.
show.
The lower face is
the famous Twin Tail.
kind of dumb looking, but
Yeah, I think Twin Tail's kind of lame, but not as lame as Bemstar.
Gunstar?
Bemstar.
Bemstar?
Shots fired.
I like Gunstar.
That's all I have to
agenda.
contribute. That's all I have to contribute to
Um,
this conversation. I'm just trying to horn in where I can. Thank you, everybody.
oh, you see Twin Tail's face right here on this like t-shirt thing. Anyway, we watched this fan film, which every time you go on IMDb to search Return of Ultraman, this is the second thing, and then Count showed it, and this is like from 1983, Daikon Films' Return of Ultraman. It's just it's like unbelievably good for a fan film. I assume it's available on YouTube.
Yeah, I got it off YouTube. It was fantastic. I streamed directly off YouTube. It's there.
Like the model work is unbelievable. Like the camera work and the models are on superior to like this was made in like a dead zone of Ultraman, and then like I don't know, maybe like 7-10 years later they just sort of started making it again. Like this is visually superior to that. Like that later real Ultraman. Just this short. It has it goes in a goofy direction, but it has a lot of really
What the fuck?
good stuff.
It's worth watching. It shows a
think I
lot of
just-
love for the series and passion for filmmaking, as Murta said. The shots are incredible. I was really like just taken aback by some of the stuff that you saw in this little short film.
Like when did Evangelion end up coming out? 94 or something?
5, I think.
Let me see.
There's a point in this where
95?
one
You're
of
gonna be
the
embarrassed when I'm correct.
one of the airplanes like ejects its ammo, and the ammo cartridge like falls out and crushes a building, which is that's such an Ava thing to happen. Just like he had that in his brain for more than a decade. Like a lot of
what he likes.
Yeah, a lot of this sort of like bold angles and stuff that eventually you see in Shin Ultraman. Just a great fan film recommended to fans.
And this came out in '83.
Yeah.
Would you say this is the Batman dead end of Ultraman films?
It's better than that.
Wow.
More impressive. It's longer. It's more impressive.
Yeah,
It's longer.
that end is like kind of like
That end is like 7 seconds long, isn't it?
yeah,
it's just like
nothing happens. in it.
Batman
It's
jumps
not that
down
impressive.
and then
You call that
punches the
nothing?
Joker, and then the Predator comes out.
Yeah, it's like okay.
No. You're no.
No,
He fights the Predator,
he does.
and then the alien comes out.
No, come on.
Yes. What are you talking about?
That really?
Yes.
It's both.
Did they release like an extended Batman Dead End?
It's like 5 minutes long.
It's literally 5 minutes long, and that's what happens. And he fights the Predator
Well, yeah, this is better than that.
and defeats the Predator, and then a bunch of Predators come out to fight Batman, and then behind Batman emerges an alien.
I'll take your word for
Oh,
it.
several aliens. I'm looking right at it.
Another fan film.
I didn't think I was going to get a serious answer to that question. Otherwise, I would have asked it.
Another fan film is Godzilla -1. Did just Count see this?
Do I need to leave?
He's not
Yeah,
going to do spoilers.
I'm not going to do spoilers. I'm just going to say, I don't know if you're timing me or not. Just go to the theater and see this movie.
Anime Minute.
I haven't gone to a movie theater since 2019. I refused to go after that. But I heard good things about this, and all I heard was that it was good. This is all the good. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I went in completely blind, which I think is the best thing. Know nothing about the characters or the setting. Just go see Godzilla -1. It's easily top 5 best Godzilla movies, but possibly top 3. It's everything I ever wanted in a Godzilla movie. And I even thought of some of the things that happened in it years ago. I was like, this would make a great Godzilla movie. And they do it. And it's fucking really good. And you care about the characters.
What are the other top 3?
I would say the original and Shin.
Okay.
Many are saying, I've heard in at least one Twitch chat, this is better than 54.
It's hard to say.
Recency bias?
I don't feel like you can even compare.
It's hard to beat 54, but it's up there. It's possible that this is the best Godzilla movie ever made. It really is. Now, is that recency bias? I don't know.
Do you think we'll see a Godzilla 0?
The director mentioned he might want to make a sequel.
Is it played in such a way that
I don't want to spoil anything.
I'm just saying is the tone such, because I get the impression that this is like a more serious movie.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the most serious since 54. It's even more serious than Shin.
Well, he did follow up 54 with fucking Raids again though, so
which is
but my question was
Godzilla movies.
Could we get Godzilla fighting another monster? Or would that be too silly? I
would hope so. It'd be nice to see.
I think they should do Anguirus again. I'd say, I think this is like supposed to be sort of a thematic. I don't really know anything about it, I guess.
If you ask me, this Godzilla should team up with King Kong, a realistic depiction of King Kong in a purple island.
They should
King Kong have like a robot hand?
Could, yeah.
Fight orangutan.
That could be cool.
It definitely feels Godzilla felt weighty in this. I guess I can try and say things.
Weighty is what Count said.
Weighty.
I thought you said weedy for a second.
No, weighty, because in that new King Kong trailer, they look like it doesn't fucking matter that they're giants.
Yeah, that was like one thing that the first Godzilla versus Kong was like did really poorly.
Yeah, I thought that movie was terrible
because I didn't think it was very good anyway. But like, yeah, just the camera has to be grounded in order for there to be not like literally on the ground, but like not just flying around the monsters at high speed. Otherwise, you lose that sense of scale, and that's something the Godzilla series has gone back and forth on constantly.
Yeah, and the American ones seem to be going in a much worse direction for it.
Yeah, but the first legendary Godzilla was really good about it. Kong Skull Island was really good about it for the most part. Even King of the Monsters I thought was pretty good about it, but it was Godzilla versus Kong and what I've seen of the new one. That's just like
the new trailer looks terrible.
It was the
really
same
bad.
It's the same thing with Pacific Rim versus the fucking sequel. I don't remember what the
Yeah,
there's a sequel, and there's like a cartoon or something.
Did they make a sequel?
I haven't seen the sequel.
Yes.
Is it Uprising?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I haven't seen it. I've only seen the original.
Like I think John Boyega was in it. That's all I remember about it.
I don't think I heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Nor did I see anything from it. Huh. All right.
I saw people on Twitter talking about the new King Kong Godzilla trailer, saying that like you're not a real Godzilla fan if you don't like this. And it's like, no, it looks bad.
Those people
it's okay
are
for
fools.
Well, I mean, I can appreciate goofy, stupid Godzilla too.
I like goofy stuff, but it has to still be, it's just bad.
Yeah, it's not out yet. You gotta give it a chance. Maybe it's really good. I don't know how they can. The fucking Hollow Earth stuff is just like a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, just
in the
go
last
with aliens. Why do they keep doing
like,
Hollow Earth? Just do aliens.
Has that ever gone anywhere? Like, did they ever go to the Hollow Earth?
Yes,
they did in
the entire last movie.
Is that where Skull Island is?
No.
Well, what's there?
Although I think it's the inside of the Earth, but there's like for some reason there's two. It's like two flat planes that are hovering about 300 feet away from each other, which doesn't. You think the Hollow Earth would just be like a sphere, But no, it's like two. It's like two. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's two halves? Two
hemispheres.
I guess.
Okay, well,
I don't like the whole.
Oh, look! I see on here there's a big extra double Godzilla.
I guess I should talk about the Monarch show briefly while we're on the subject.
Oh, right.
I watched like the first 3 episodes. It's good. It was good like before bedtime watching for me, but it sort of hadn't gone anywhere in the first 3 episodes. Like it's about
these fucking like streaming shows never go anywhere. I'm noticing.
I know. I hate it. I hate it.
This seems to be
tell story
endemic.
Concisely anymore.
It's only 3 episodes. It's going somewhere, but not. I don't know. I'm not seeing. It's about like this girl who goes to like, I guess her father disappeared, and she's like half Japanese, and her father's Japanese, so she goes to Japan to like settle his affairs or something after he disappears, and he finds out he had this whole second family in Japan, and like her and her half brother or whatever that she didn't know about. Thank you for the perfect that she don't go to try and find her father.
Don't get banned, Mortis.
What?
No.
Is that Susan Sarandon? Is that what you're talking about?
That's okay. Susan Sarandon.
Oh, boobs are illegal now on Twitch. Remember?
Oh yeah, artistic nudity is now allowed.
You would have got away with that.
Artistic pussy.
Well, there's no bigger boob than Susan Sarandon. Am I right? Anyway,
she's got a nice pair.
The Monarch show is weird because it keeps going back and forth between like the 50s and the current day. The thing I just described is the current day, and then the 50s thing is like young Kurt Russell, played by Kurt Russell's son, and young John Goodman, played by some other guy, and then some Japanese woman.
Young John Goodman.
Young John Goodman. John Goodman's character from Skull Island.
Well, is John Goodman in it, though?
John Goodman is in the first 3 minutes.
Okay. It's got to be some sort of flashback, I'm guessing.
70s. So the time doesn't work out. Because in the 50s...
Are there monsters in the show? Like, sorry.
There's a little bit of monsters. It's surprisingly light on monsters. They put a little bit of monsters in every episode. Mostly in the flashback stuff. I guess entirely in the flashback.
So the point of this is that it's like a drama that is taking place in the Monsterverse. And it's like how they impact the humans in a dramatic way.
Well, the stuff that takes place in the 50s is about the founding of the Monarch organization, which are like monster, not monster hunters, I guess, but like researchers. Or I guess they were in all the movies up till now, but I never really.
Are they the ones that were discussing Mothra in the one that I saw?
I think so.
Okay.
They are. They were in
They were in the original.
They were in 2014, but they were in Skull
They were
Island,
apparently,
definitely.
or they retconned them in at least.
Maybe they retconned them. They're definitely in Skull Island, and then they're in King of the Monsters.
But I don't really know where the modern storyline is going yet. Like they're trying to find her father, and her father was a researcher for Monarch. So
is the modern stuff like post Kong, or where does that take place?
It's 2015, so it's a year after the first Godzilla movie, and the girl was like a survivor of the Godzilla attack on San Francisco. I think it was probably. I think that's the Golden Gate Bridge in the poster there.
Now, what kind of monsters are in it?
Godzilla's in it. We get some Godzilla. There's the other things we've seen. There's like some kind of bat that showed up. It's a big bat creature or flying pterodactyl. I don't even remember.
Varan.
It was on screen for. I don't think there's going to be any named like pre-existing kaiju. And then there's some sort of ice monster thing. They crash land in Siberia or something at the end of the third episode. That's about where I stopped watching, not because I lost interest, just because I was watching other shit. Which I can't remember what I was. I've been trying to watch Dial of Destiny for like a week now, and I keep falling asleep after about 5 minutes.
Oh, we could just watch that together.
Okay.
I think I still have it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, maybe I don't.
Are you ready for your book report?
I do still have it.
My book report. Okay.
Like, what do you want to just talk about, like how it relates to 2, or like I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess take it away. Sorry,
it's not going to be long. So I finished. I believe I had started reading it on
the Neverending Story. Right? We're talking about
the Neverending Story because you talked about the sequel movie on the last podcast. Do you remember if did I talk about reading the book?
You had started it, you talked a little bit about some things.
Okay, so the first movie is the first half of the book, and it's a pretty faithful adaptation. There's like a couple scenes from the book that are cut out for, I assume, mostly like budget or special effects reasons. I don't think they would have been able to do them.
One thing I noticed, one thing I noticed in the pages that you sort of showed was it said like Bastion was ashamed of his little fat face or something. Like, yeah, it was like, implied that Bastion is like a fat kid, which is not what he is in the movie.
Yes, that is one divergence from the book.
Just something I noticed.
Atreyu is green,
right? Sorry,
but I mean, by and large, the plot of the movie is basically the first half of the book. So when we get to the climax of the movie, where Bastion names the childlike empress and all that, he figures out, I have influence over the story. In the book, he does not figure this out. He doesn't. He just he realizes they're telling him, Bastion. They flat out say, Bastion, you can influence this world. And he keeps saying to himself, that can't be. This has to be fake. This can't be true. And so the childlike empress is like, holy shit! I can't believe this fucking kid. I can't believe I have to do this. I can't get through to this kid. Now I have to go to the old man on the Wandering Mountain. The old man on the Wandering Mountain. So she leaves the fucking ivory tower and goes to the Wandering Mountain. And the old man on the Wandering Mountain is a guy writing the Neverending Story within the Neverending Story.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
The books, I do not know, like the movie and the first half of the book are like, the message is very clear. Just, don't lose your imagination. Keep creating, right? Like, don't, obvious. The second half of the book, and so from that kind of just goes nowhere. In the childlike empress just like fucks off forever at that point. And then somehow Bastion does end up in the book, like in Fantastica.
Mm-hmm. Like the film, second film,
like the film. Yes. So a lot of most of the elements of the second film are pulled from the second half of the book, but not the plot. Like, you have the Silver City, you have Queen Zaida, you have the concept of wishing on the Orin causing you to lose your memories, but like the actual, like, that's a separate like Zaida does not have like a device that causes Bastion to lose his memories. That is just how the Orin works if you make a wish on the Orin, and it's not really explained why. In the second half of the book, Bastion is now in Fantasia. He eventually meets up with Atreyu, like 2 or 3 chapters into him ending up in Fantasia. And he basically becomes the villain of the rest of the book. It is so weird. And
Bastion does?
Like, Bastion does. He keeps making wishes that are active, like, at first unintentionally detrimental to the like inhabitants of Fantasia, and later on he just becomes like a fucking tyrant. Like, he tries to usurp the ivory tower, even though the childlike empress isn't around anymore, but he basically wants to become the new god of Fantasia. Fantastica, sorry.
But do the other characters view him as a villain?
Yes, like Atreyu and Falcor are with him at the beginning, like, and they realize he's losing all his memories. Like, we need to get him to stop wishing, and they can't get through to him. He's just becomes a complete prick, and they eventually, like, so Atreyu and Falcor like go to war against Bastion and all his armies. Like, Zaida gets in with Bastion. Like, there is like, in the movie, it's like her trying to seduce him, not sexually, but like in terms of power, like trying to get in his good graces in order to exploit his power or whatever. And she does that in the book in like a much less direct way. Like, she just kind of ends up as his right hand sorceress. And she doesn't get a whole lot of characterization. It's kind of weird. And then
just like the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. So Atreyu or Bastion wounds Atreyu. He thinks it might be fatal, but he's not sure. And Atreyu rides off on Falcor. He escapes during the big battle of the Ivory Tower. The Ivory Tower crumbles into dust. And then Bastion is left with nothing. And just kind of, we're now like 2/3 of the way through the second half of the book, if not more than that. And then he just spends the rest, like 3 or 4 more chapters, wandering and realizing, oh, I was kind of a dick. He comes across a town, a town inhabited by the other people who have visited the other humans who have visited Fantastica and lost all their memories by wishing. And they basically just walk around the town like doing shit that don't make sense. I can't remember any examples.
Well,
you know, they'll just take a baby and hang it up on a hook or something. I don't know. I can't. And then he meets like an old motherly, like a plump motherly woman who grows fruit on her head, and he eats her fruit, and he realizes, what I really want is to learn how to love. And then it's so fucking weird. It's so, like, it became this weird stream of consciousness. Like, I don't know what Michael Ende was trying to say. Like, I don't know what the point of the second half of the book
That was going to be my question. What do you think?
It's so
what do you think the theme
like,
here is?
I don't know. I'd be interested to like read about other people's interpretations of it. It went so fucking far off the rails, and I understand as as the guy who wrote that book, like why he would have been disappointed by the movie, but like,
right.
I don't, because in the book, the entire first half is just a convoluted series of events to convince Bastian that, or to sort of form a bond between Bastian and Atreyu. Like Atreyu's journey didn't actually matter in any capacity other than to form a bond with Bastian so Bastian could get pulled into Fantasia and name the Empress. So
which he did not do.
Which he didn't do in the book. It's so weird. It's the second half started off kind of interesting because it was like right after he gets pulled in, he doesn't know that the Orin is like granting his subconscious wishes. Like he doesn't have to say, I wish for this. It's just like he would think of something. Like he thought about how in the book, he's a little fat kid who's weak and he's a weakling and he has no friends. So like immediately upon entering Fantastica, he becomes like a handsome buff prince guy, but he's all alone. And the first place he's in is this big forest where these seeds will grow into huge, like mile tall trees incredibly fast. But then when the morning comes, all the trees crumble into dust and it just becomes a desert of like, and the sand's all multicolored and there's like a fucking lion there and he rides around on the lion and there's like this cycle of it. When the night comes, the forest will regrown. Every sunrise, it becomes a desert again. And that was kind of interesting. And he was hanging out with that lion for a little while. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know. I don't know. It was really weird.
So
it was really weird.
Do you feel you understand the second film any better? I mean,
I did not understand. I just thought it was bad.
Do you have a different opinion on it?
No.
All right.
No.
Do you think it's worth reading the book?
I don't know. I kind of hated it. Like, I don't know.
Like as someone who first movie, should you read the book or no?
I think that's why I didn't like it, because I hold the movie in such high esteem, and this was just, it kind of shit all over the setting established in the first half of the book. I don't know. It's weird. I guess it's worth reading just because of where it goes.
Maybe you can figure it out.
It's really strange. I don't know. I've almost never encountered a piece of media that was like this inscrutable.
Was this pretty new when the movie came out, or had it been around for a while?
I think it was only a few years old. The book was 79 and the movie was 84. And the English translation was 83. Because it is written in German.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we get into the Christmas movies, or
the one thing I want to mention, like almost every element from the second movie is pulled from the book, including the remember the acid water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In the book, it's and I want to mention the giants too. In the book, the water is not acid, but it is like corrosive because it's made from the tears of a bunch of little worm guys who were so ugly that they just cry all the time because of how ugly they are.
Yeah.
Cool. I like those
guys.
And
then the giants from the movie. Remember how they're fucking like big bug?
Yeah.
Ultraman guys. I think that was due to a misreading in the book where Zaida's minions are described as giants with shiny beetle-like armor, which I think means like iridescent,
right?
Like a beetle's shell.
Right.
Not they just look like beetles, because they weren't really giants in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they were kind of tall, but they were.
Did they have the buzzsaws in the book?
No.
Okay.
Is Nimbly in the book?
I'm glad you asked that. I was like, at least there's no Nimbly in the book. And then as Bastion is camping out in front of the ivory tower, preparing to take it like the next day, he sends a messenger or a courier or whatever to try and oh fuck, what's the word, to meet with the childlike empress and
parlay,
make accords with her in order to avoid having to do a siege, basically. And the courier is described as a Nimbly, which is apparently a type of creature which is described as being like a rabbit. So not a bird
man.
And not his name.
Okay.
But what about the baby rock biter?
No, there's no baby. I'm trying to think if the rock biter even shows up in this. I don't think the rock biter shows up again after the opening scene.
Was the German version like 2 books and then they condensed them into 1 volume, or
no,
was it just 1 book?
It's not like an immensely long book. It's like a normal one.
Right, but just like the shift, it seems like there's a very obvious stopping point. Like 1, 2, like. Yeah.
One thing about the book though that I read the fucking Kindle version, so I don't know why they couldn't have recreated this, but I guess in the actual print version, like the parts that take place in the real world are printed in green ink, and the parts that take place in Fantasia are printed in red. I might have that backwards, but I guess that's kind of interesting. In the Kindle version, it was just the real world versions which the real world events, which there's not many of. It's like 10% of the book maybe was just in italics. So there you go. That's my book report. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my book report for this movie podcast.
It's all media, as we've said. All right, so Christmas movies. We each chose a Christmas movie, and Count's was Cash on Demand, which he's mentioned before. I think it was in his somewhat facetious top 10. Is that right?
I believe it was on my top 10. I can check real quick just to make sure.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't think that was facetious.
Well, it was. He was doing a little bit.
It's. I mean, they're all real picks. But
did you do it like by decade or something? What was it?
I did it by decade.
Okay.
And by,
they were all black and white.
Genre. Yeah, they were all black and white. And I represented genre, and I did them in.
That's fine.
It was like an exercise.
Oh, that's what this fucking episode was supposed to be. My top 20.
Yeah, this was number 6.
My top 25.
Okay, well, Count. This is Count is fucking black and white. Movies that are based on plays.
Yeah, I love them.
I have a lot to say about this one.
Tell us about this movie, Count.
It's a Hammer film, known as Hammer Horror, but really they were just Hammer Film Productions. It's a crime thriller film from 1961. It has Peter Cushing in it, and the other guy, I'm trying to think.
Andre Morell. That's what's on the poster.
Yes, Andre Morell. Who the two of them were. Peter Cushing was Sherlock Holmes, and Andre Morell was Watson in Hound of the Baskervilles. I think that was 2 years before this, and then they brought him back. Hammer? Also Hammer.
A question.
Yeah.
I really only know Peter Cushing from Star Wars.
Okay.
Would you say he's playing against type in this, or did he play?
It's fairly on point for him. Okay. He is very soft-spoken as an actor, and he's most well known for being Van Helsing, but he was never like a very aggressive Van Helsing. He was always kind of like a meek Van Helsing, I would say. He's a little aggressive.
He was also Dr. Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein. Right? Yeah.
I guess he starts off as Tarkin and becomes. Well. Go ahead.
What are you talking about? What?
He's talking about the movie.
Oh, this and this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's on point for him. And I think that's why George Lucas wanted him, because he's kind of like a soft-spoken, almost underestimated type of actor to be Tarkin. But Cash on Demand, technically it's a Christmas movie. I think it's more Christmas than Die Hard. A little bit more Christmas. It's got like some good messages there, almost Christmas Carol-esque.
Okay. I disagree with the Christmas.
Do you? Okay.
I do.
Let's we can get into that. Essentially, it deals with Cushing being a bank manager, and a bank robber comes right in early in the morning. This movie takes place in real time, and he is trying to rob Peter Cushing's bank, and he's claiming to hold Peter Cushing's family hostage.
Well, you kind of skipped a major.
That Peter Cushing is a big prick?
No, he's character? Not. You have no idea he's stealing at first. You have no idea he's a robber at first, because he's
right. Yes,
he's pretending to be
the
regional manager,
the insurance company, an agent from the insurance company to make sure their security is up.
A man comes in under the guise of being there to do like a security check, and he's actually robbing them.
It's a flawless bank robbery, or is it?
Or is it?
But it seems to be a plot without any holes, and Peter Cushing, an efficient and ruthless bank manager, is left sweating.
Yeah, he's quite Scrooge-like. I don't think he's as mean as Scrooge ever was, but he's like very in his own little world and doesn't want to mingle with his underlings.
I didn't know what to think going into this. I was like, is this gonna be good? It was good. I liked this.
I'm glad you did.
Quite a bit. Thought it was a good movie.
Giving me a sigh of relief right now.
I thought it was fine.
What did you want to say, CyRaptor?
I don't think being set on Christmas is enough to make something a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but Count's also saying like the ending has a sort of a
no, it's not enough. It's not enough.
I think I think it does more than Die Hard is what I'm getting at. When people talk about like, let's watch these other.
It'll shock you to hear that I haven't seen Die Hard, so I can't comment.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying this was my pick for technically Christmas movie, but even more than like some of them on like those lists that you see. And I thought the real time aspect is interesting. Those lists that come out, Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies.
Yeah. Gremlins.
Lethal Weapon.
What? Is Lethal Weapon one of those?
It is, yeah.
Weird. I think Home Alone is only incidentally a Christmas movie.
So, okay.
However, I think Home Alone has enough Christmas trappings.
Well, here's the Christmas stuff in this. So before the robber comes in, right? I think I have this timeline right. Just before the robber comes in, Peter Cushing's wife calls what's the character's name? I don't remember.
Forsyth?
Fordice.
Fordice.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say Peter Cushing. His wife calls on his office phone and says, I beseech you, my darling, do anything he says. And there's a kid like, Mommy. And then like halfway through the robbery, the guy is like, the robber says, that boy was calling for his mommy, not his daddy, and your wife said beseech. What kind of loving wife says beseech? Is she usually in a position to beseech? And that was when I said the twist is that he's not a bank robber, but an angel from God.
I was literally gonna ask the question, is he an angel?
I mean, he's not.
Because he's robbing the bank, but he's also sort of giving Peter Cushing a lesson on,
metaphorically,
like, he should treat his family better. And, like, Peter Cushing is like, oh, my family, they're the only ones I have. I only have I don't have any friends. I only have my wife and my son. And apparently he treats them bad, and he treats everyone bad. And then, like, the way the movie wraps up, just sort of, like, the robber has the whole thing about, like, forcing him to become involved in the office Christmas party. Like, yeah,
making him donate
I think there's a lot of, small Christmassy elements in the film.
There's definitely shades of Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
not just in the Scrooge-like character, but the whole, turn your life around or whatever.
There's enough trimmings for it to count for me to include it.
All right.
For this, like, boundary riding.
All right, you've convinced me.
This is available on Tubi. You can see it for free if you're in the United States.
Yeah. I wanted to show this because if we're all getting older, maybe we've seen the Christmas movies that we've seen every year 1,000 times, and this one doesn't really ever get talked about. And I first watched it maybe 5 years ago, and I thought I'd rewatch it. I love Peter Cushing. Probably one of my favorite actors.
He's up there.
He's just very enjoyable for me to watch.
The performances were very good, particularly him and Morel.
Look at this bullshit poster.
Yeah.
That is a bullshit poster.
I tried to find, this was like the best one I could find. A lot of these old movies have like multiple variants of posters.
Nobody ran. There were no women in the movie.
Look at this shitty graphic design on the top with the stairs. Like, what is that about?
That's just like Saul Bass shit.
There was imitation. Women. There were 2 women.
Not that women.
Peter Cushing famously played Doctor Who. Maybe we'll get to those.
Right.
Wait, what?
He played Doctor Who in like 2 movies.
They're not canon.
Doctor Who's so fucking weird.
They're like they're not canon, but they're like their own little thing.
That's like the Metal Gear Solid of TV shows. There's just so much of it that's so confusing, and I'll never get into it. It's not even worth bothering.
I think that you could play all the Metal Gear games in the duration of like the first 2 series of Doctor Who quite easily.
I guess there are as like many snakes as doctors. It's getting up there.
Well, now the fucking 14th Doctor is the same as the 9th Doctor or whatever.
Yeah, 10th Doctor.
What the hell's going on? And now...
So I didn't really
he's gay. I heard it's really woke and gay.
Who?
The Doctor.
Tennant? He's gay now?
They made Tennant's Doctor gay.
Like the first one or the second one?
The 14th one.
Okay.
Has there ever been a Doctor that had any kind of sex drive?
Well, the 9th and 10th did.
Oh, the American one did, because he was like half, right? And he got horny?
Yeah, he got horny too. Let's see if it's on the Wikipedia page. I saw on like Twitter where he was like calling I'd have to actually let me look at the fucking Isaac Newton. He thought Isaac Newton is hot or something. And then he says like, "Oh, I guess I like guys" or something. He's like realizing it because he's regenerated and then he doesn't have his memories. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Well, anyway. Bizarre. Yeah, I didn't really just I didn't take any notes, but I do recommend you watch the movie. I don't want to spoil the particulars. I don't think there's really anything else to say without running down.
Oh, it's short. It's only 80 minutes.
There you go.
Movie. Pop it on if you're wrapping presents or something like that, and you don't want to watch.
You're not going to get any wrapping done. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
Thrill a minute.
And it's a Hammer horror movie. Come on.
I was playing Ace Combat, Assault Horizon Legacy Plus during the whole thing, and I was following just fine.
All right. Did you ever pause because there was a thrill?
No.
I thought it was I thought it was vaguely thrilling at times. Honestly, there's a little bit of tension there.
Yeah. I mean, if you have any kind of empathy for Peter Cushing's character, he's in a very bad situation for about 75 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't get worse and worse, if you don't like Peter Cushing because of what he did to TK421, you get to watch him squirm for 80 minutes.
What is TK421?
The stormtrooper.
Oh.
He wasn't
what he did to Ultraman.
There's the famous CyRaptor's referring to the famous comic where
it's not a comic, it's a story from a certain point of view anthology.
Oh, it's in a book.
Oh. What did he do?
The famous short story where Admiral Grand Moff Tarkin sexually took advantage of his inferiors in a gay way.
Well, he's never mentioned by name.
Oh,
to be fair, but it's very clear that's who they're talking about.
Okay.
Well, I guess Peter Cushing also played Doctor Who. It's time together. Don't worry,
the story was written by a gay author, so it's okay that it's not problematic.
Well,
I didn't say it was.
I didn't say you said it was.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
What is a Grand Moff anyway?
It's its rank in the sort of,
It allows you entrance to the Moff rents.
I forgot about that.
That's not a joke.
Is that from the Splitter of the Mind's Eye shit?
No, that's
the children's book stuff.
Yeah, that's not Splitter of the Mind's Eye.
I've read Splitter of the Mind's Eye.
Okay,
so I don't remember it.
The
Glove of Darth Vader.
Yeah. God, the Moffrins. Okay. So, my Christmas movie that I chose is The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus.
The never-ending story of Christmas films.
Which is from 1985. And I believe the very first time this came on TV, I was there sitting right in front of the TV. This is my Christmas movie for me, and I shared it with Count and CyRaptor. CyRaptor for
this is like the
second or third time. Right?
It's fucking weird.
So this is a Rankin Bass
weird shit
stop motion.
Probably one of the last ones.
Probably, yeah. Nobody, you hear about everybody around Christmas. They think about the Island of Misfit Toys and the snowman singing Silver and Gold, and those get rerun every year.
That's Burl Ives, buddy.
Yeah, well, he's a snowman.
Show some fucking respect.
Heat Miser.
This is in fact
people do always talk about the Heat Miser, but I don't think I've seen that one. Which one is that in?
It's the other
Year Without a Santa Claus?
Santa one. Yeah.
I think
that's right.
Okay.
This is
mostly I've just seen Rudolph like a million times.
The last stop motion Christmas
Are the other ones made in Japan?
Rankin Bass. Yeah.
Okay.
Or most of them, anyway.
Well, okay. So it's based on
what the fuck?
the Coneheads.
Sorry, the only thing they did before this is apparently the Coneheads.
Stop motion?
Coneheads. No, traditional animation.
Weird. Yeah, I guess they did that too. What was I saying? Oh, this is based on an L. Frank Baum book, the Wizard of Oz guy. This is if Lord of the Rings was a Christmas show. Like the first thing that happens in this is like it's this forest of the immortals, and the immortals are having a conference on whether they should grant Santa Claus immortality, and there's this like scary sort of droning chanty song about till the first cracking of doom, and like all these weird creatures, you know, like come down to the conference table, and you know, it's like we will decide whether Santa Claus lives or dies, and it fades out and goes to, you know, commercials for dolls that pee themselves and stuff. It's this like on TV, it's a really weird whiplash, but like I love this movie. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I thought it was very weird, but I enjoyed it. I had seen it before, probably not since I was a child. You said you thought it went off the air, but I definitely remember seeing it because I remember Baby Santa Claus, and I remember the Mountain Lion. That stood out to me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew I had seen this. I don't remember it being so fucking weird.
Well, I remember this being pulled from like TV circulation. What?
Young Santa Claus, voiced by J.D. Roth of GamePro TV or whatever.
Yeah, the host of GamePro TV, and also Funhouse. Was it Funhouse? The like shitty Double Dare bootleg show that was also on Nickelodeon. I think that was him. Anyway,
I don't remember that from Knickknacks.
I don't think they've done it yet. I think I would have definitely watched that episode.
He's up to 91. All right.
We'll have to look into that.
I'm looking into it.
So there's it follows Santa Claus. They find Santa Claus just as an abandoned baby in this forest of immortals, and the immortals raise him and teach him.
What is a child?
This is a musical, I guess I should mention. None of the songs are particularly good. Most of them don't last more than one verse. We've lost count. No? You okay, Count?
I'm good.
Okay.
There's only like 3 songs, right?
No, there's a lot. Like there's the scary one. There's the one where
I just remember the cat one.
The green fairy adopts Santa and like sings about a baby. And then like there's the one where the baby's growing up, and then there's like a handful. The cat one, yeah. The cat one is the exception to the one verse thing. The cat, there's okay. Santa Claus carves a wooden cat, and they sing a song about it, a bunch of orphans, and it goes on for about, feels like 7 minutes, but it probably isn't because the movie's only 40 minutes long. So like it goes on for way too long. But
it is a cute little song though.
It's cute. It's too long. Shit.
They made another one.
Yeah, there's an animated one of this that came out in 2000 I saw. It doesn't look very good, but I'd be interested to see it. But I always thought this had got pulled from TV circulation, you know, like Count's 10 years younger than me. I'm surprised you saw it on TV.
Well, I will say it's possible I'd seen it like on tape.
Maybe. It doesn't have a lot of like releases either in terms of home, because like Rudolph and whatever, that's pretty friendly to put on TV. This is not only really weird, but like actively anti-Christian and like communistic at times.
It is.
It's like there's like no like traditional Christmas stuff, like
other than Santa
mythology.
Right? Yeah.
At all. I guess there's the guy who makes toys.
There's a guy who makes toys and then manually drags them across the countryside to give them to poor kids.
Now, do you like Tingler?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
The Pokemon?
Tingler,
Tingler. Kingler.
Here, pictured on the poster.
No, this
elf.
Fuck this guy.
You don't like
Fuck
Tingler?
This guy all the way to hell.
Wow.
Fuck him.
From the Jar Jar Binks fan.
He's what people think Jar Jar is.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I got Nimbley vibes from him.
Did I also say this?
It's not that bad.
Is that the exact same thing I said about Nimbley?
It might have been.
I think it is.
Actually. Yeah.
Tingler is a sound elf.
Tingler is... Listen.
Yeah.
Japan did Tingler better 15 years later when they dropped the R and just called him Tingle. And he was basically the same.
He's an elf of sound, so he walks around speaking every language, and then he also goes like because he's also speaking bird language.
And he goes Kulu Limpa.
Well, it's Tingler. Tingle. Anyway, this also has aguas in it, which are like basically
not to be confused with when Tingler saw Pulavardi and goes, "Oh, agua," because he can speak Spanish.
They're basically like, what's that book? Where the Wild Things Are, wearing plate mail. And there are evil monsters in this, and the good elves go to fucking war with the evil monsters and kill half of them. And like they shoot them with beams from flowers.
Ways.
They shoot them with beams from axes. They poke them with a little knife that shrinks them. It's
one of them turns them into like a flower, and then the flower wilts immediately and just like dies. And
fucking cool. I liked how they kept getting offended by people invoking names to summon them.
Right.
Like, what power do you have to do this? And you're like, I can do it.
It's very fantasy. I don't really know how a person would see this other than pirating it.
Is it possible that this, like, the L. Frank Baum was writing like 120 years ago? Like, I think the first Wizard of Oz book came out in like 1898 or something. Is it possible that this actually predates a lot of the like folkloric Christmas tradition stuff, and that's why it's so weird? And like
what's an example of what do you mean?
Elf on the Shelf.
Oh. Well, he has elves.
No, like I don't
like
know.
He's assisted by creatures that look like elves. So I don't know.
The North Pole, the reindeer.
Yeah, he's not at the North Pole. He's at there are the reindeer. The great Ack of the forest gives him his magical reindeer or not the great Tom Nook or whatever.
Can you name the reindeer?
Nook.
Blitzer, Donner.
You've already
Thunder.
screwed up.
Cupid?
No. Nobody can name
Prancer?
the reindeer.
Prancer's in the chat. You're cheating.
Is it?
No, I can't name three.
Oh, I should have picked that as my Christmas movie.
No, I hate Prancer.
Anyway, I love this movie. It's like apparently there's a Japanese style snowman. That was the giveaway for me that it was made in Japan.
And the two little samurai children.
Yeah, they travel around the world and see how real boys live, so Santa can see it. And there's a just battle between two samurai.
What a fucking weird movie, dude.
And they just weird. They go and see knights just kill each other on the field of war, and it's very weird.
I think people should watch this. Like, if you haven't seen it, watch it.
It's even shorter than that last movie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Christmas.
What is it, like 40 minutes?
Yeah, 40, 50.
It's even shorter and has less to do with Christmas.
I think
that's fucking Link, dude. That's fucking Link. He's sitting next to Tingle. I didn't even put that together. That's fucking Link.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then they had a daughter named Linkle.
Lincoln. Okay.
Dude, 1985. Shigeru Miyamoto saw the fucking Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, and he was like, I gotta get in on this shit. And he made Link.
Could be.
He's holding a snowball just like Link has bombs.
He goes on an adventure. He doesn't really.
He sees samurai. It's like an iron knuckle.
Well, there's the knights.
The Aguas are like
the goblins.
Moblins.
Yeah.
Goblins, please.
Well, goblins.
They're not goblins.
They are goblins.
There's moblins.
And Zelda.
Bokoblins.
What were they called in this?
Aguas.
Oh, the Aguas.
The Dongos.
Oh,
fucking Manda.
Yeah.
I've always said Manda, but I guess it's probably supposed to be Manda. From Godzilla is in this.
Which
and
one's
makes
Manda? This.
The big dragon.
The Chinese myth dragon looking one.
Yeah.
And makes a Rodan sound. Predating the Heisei Godzilla series where every monster makes a Rodan sound.
Is Rodan the most popular sound? Like even outside of Godzilla?
Probably.
It seems like anytime there's a monster in a game, it's the Rodan sound.
I've heard Anguirus. I've heard Rodan. That's about it.
So the final Christmas movie.
Speaking of Toho Kaiju. So if you've been looking at this image, this background image the whole time, did you see it? When you see it, you'll shit bricks.
It's very Christmassy.
This film features a green monster and a red monster. Just
Red Oni, Blue Oni.
A green and a red monster.
TVtropes.org.
War of the Gargantuas, Frankenstein's monsters.
1000% whoever made the cover of this VHS is the same one as the Rodan I had as a kid.
Yeah, I think they did all of these VHS
they probably did all
covers.
the non-Godzilla
It also
ones.
looks to me like Dinosaurs Attack. Do you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
I had this.
No idea how
I had this on VHS.
The Rodan one looks cool.
And I didn't like it very much. But we watched it again. It was pretty good.
So I've always heard that this is like a really highly regarded kaiju movie. And having seen it now, I kind of understand why, but it's in a completely different way than I assumed. Like I thought it was. Maybe we should talk about the the story and everything first.
Well, okay, so the Japanese title is Frankenstein no Kaiju Sanda versus Manda or something, right? Like
Gyra,
Sanda versus Gyra.
I have no idea if the rest of that was correct.
On the previous episode, we talked about Frankenstein Conquers the World. This is the sequel to that, and CyRaptor was talking about how it was the sequel. I was very confused because there's 2 dubs of this movie, and I had only ever seen the one that removes all reference to Frankenstein. Not that it really makes sense that it is about Frankenstein. Like the first half of this movie, the scientists are just like constantly talking about these creatures, like, oh, well, the Frankenstein has been sighted. Oh, is the Frankenstein sighted? Yeah, we've lost sight of the Frankenstein. It's like the word starts to lose meaning. It's like they say it that much.
We're talking about that looks like Frankenstein right there.
It had not really lost meaning,
and they don't really give an attempt to really tie it to the previous movie. Like you're just, I guess you just have to like do it yourself.
Was the little monkey boy supposed to be like? Was that the Frankenstein from the first movie?
I don't know, because they say like, Frankenstein died on Mount Fuji in a fiery explosion, which is probably referring to the end of the first movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a flashback to they have a little ape in their lab. He's a little ape boy.
He looks like Chaka from Land of the Lost.
And that's their Frankenstein, and it's not clear if like.
And there's an American scientist who's an expert in Frankenstein, but it's a different one. Also, just now reading the American guy in this was Russ Tamblyn.
Yeah,
who's like
I've heard the name.
An actor,
like a big actor.
Not a huge actor, I don't think, but like he's Amber Tamblyn's dad.
No, that's not a name. I don't know.
She's in The Ring.
Amblin Tamblyn?
I think she was the girl in the closet in The Ring.
Yeah. I do remember that shot.
How could you forget it? Anyway.
Yeah.
That was what was I talking?
I don't know. Count.
Hey, he's still alive, by the way.
Russ is?
He's still, yeah,
88.
He's 88 years old.
What did I think about it? Is that what you were going to ask me?
I don't know. Just move the discussion along somehow.
This is the first time I've seen it since I watched it in college about 10 years ago, and I remember liking it then. I like it now. It moves at an insane pace in my eyes, and there's a lot of monster screen time in this movie. It's a shame that they're just seaweed apes. Like, not a little bit more interesting to look at.
I think that's why people think this is a good kaiju movie. Like, I thought it was like, oh, it has a really engaging story or something.
Right. That's sort of what I assumed.
That's what I assumed, but like,
it's because you see them a lot.
It's not only that, but like I think the special effects are really good, like a huge improvement over Frankenstein versus Baragon, which is only a year earlier. And even if you look at like Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, which came out the same year as this, it's way better because in that one Godzilla's fighting a big lobster in some water, and he's like picking jets out of the sky that are flying around on strings and stuff. And
right.
Is Everon the laziest monster that Godzilla ever fought as like a title monster?
Laziest?
Yeah.
It's
like lobster.
The least interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like here we go.
I think
what we got.
I think that is my least favorite Godzilla movie, but I haven't seen it.
It's not a
VHS.
Great one. It feels like a Scooby-Doo episode, honestly.
I remember, I want to say, it's been a while since I've seen it. These people like crash on the island, kind of touristy people, and then they're trying to survive. And then Godzilla
It's the Scooby Gang.
It's the Scooby Gang. and they're also trying to survive while Godzilla's fighting this lobster.
Yeah,
just sort of unrelated to anything. And
there's also a
a bird.
condor.
Yeah.
There's also Mothra also appears in it briefly.
I do not remember Mothra in it. I will take your word for it.
I don't even remember why. Like, I think they sent a balloon or something to Infinite Island, and Mothra comes and does something. It was, yeah.
But definitely, this is people like it, I think, because the monsters are in it so much. And I just wish they were a little bit more interesting. I don't know.
You think about this type of movie, you know, the Godzilla movie, and me at least, I think of 50 to 70 minutes of people talking and then a little bit of monster. Right. This is like 20 minutes of people, 10 minutes of monster. 20 minutes of people, 10 minutes of monster. Like, it's just bang, bang, bang. They keep coming back and they do a lot, and they're smaller than Godzilla is, right, and they're very fast. They just sprint around.
Yeah.
That's what I thought worked really well, was because the typical kaiju monster suits are big and bulky, and you know, all the actors can really do inside them is stomp around and kind of like bash against each other. These are just guys wearing, you know, fucking ghillie suits, and they're like fully articulate and able to move around and jump around and shit. And that works really well with the undercranked footage where, you know, it's just running in slow motion basically, but it gives them a sense of scale.
Yeah.
By moving slow, and it actually works really well, which is kind of surprising when they're just running and jumping around. Like, it probably looks like fucking garbage at full speed, but like, it actually works here. Right.
A lot of Maser tank action.
Yeah, I believe this is the first movie to have
love the miniatures in this.
Sorry, you said this is the first movie to have them?
I believe it is, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Huh. One of the iconic great things of Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in
I think there's
Monsterverse at all? Do they have a Maser tank equivalent?
I know they probably got like ICBMs or some shit.
Right.
That
sucks.
Too goofy.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know for sure, actually, though. I feel there might have been one in Kong versus Kong, because that had a bunch of dumb shit in it. That had like fucking Super X looking things in there. But I think this had a lot of really ambitious special effects in addition to the miniatures looking really good. Like, there's a lot of like matting, and maybe some of the stuff looked like chroma keyed. Like, it wasn't done particularly well, because you could see when they would matte stuff, there'd be like a blue halo around everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't done great, but that's more ambitious than they usually went for movies of this era. Toho.
Yeah, I agree. I think the shots were, you know, they tried more things, and I just thought there were a lot of good sort of scale shots, like from the humans, the doctor's hotel room. You know, they'd like opened up their drapes and like saw the lights of Tokyo coming on, and like the emergency spotlights. I don't know, just good shots.
Remember this singer lady?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was looking on Wikipedia to try to figure out about if I had Mandalorian affected myself with the dub that never said Frankenstein, but apparently Devo performed that song live at some point, and it's like from this movie.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
A lot of filmmakers seem to like that. Apparently Tarantino loves this movie. Just going back to,
I think Del Toro does too.
Well, yes, you can see why Tarantino likes this movie so much on the cover of this VHS.
Right.
I think it's essentially like two Kongs in a way, this movie.
Yeah, it's like if Kong is Optimus Primal, then this is like two Optimus Minors.
Right.
Right?
But they're very ape-like. They're very basically King Kong stand-ins.
Well,
but we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about this fucking Frankenstein connection.
Okay.
What is the fucking like?
There is none.
Why did they even bother? Because it's never like, is it ever really explained what they are or where they come from?
It's not explained. They have several different ideas.
Okay, but like Gyra shows up and is sort of the antagonist of the first half of the movie. Okay, that's fine. We are this monster attacking.
Gyra is the green one.
Gyra's the green one.
G green
G for Gyra, and then Sanda is the brown one because Sanda's brown.
Yeah,
that's how I remember. Oh, also this is this is my Christmas movie because I thought it was Santa. That's what I decided to go with.
Okay,
for my excuse. But it's Sanda with a D. Can you put up the picture you found of
which one?
Hold on. Oh yeah, there's a giant octopus in this movie, by the way.
Oh, I got it. This image is courtesy of someone on Pixiv. We don't have permission to use it, but please don't get upset.
There's a giant octopus in the movie. This is the giant octopus.
The first thing in the movie is the giant octopus.
Which I thought that sequence was great. Very strong opening.
When the giant octopus appears in King Kong versus Godzilla, it's just played by an actual octopus. It's like just they filmed an actual octopus on like a miniature set or something. This time it was a puppet. It was all right.
It looked like
I don't really know.
octopus.
They never really. No, I think it was like a puppet octopus.
Okay.
Dang.
I assume when Gyra
that's just like how good the special effects
suplexed the octopus into the water, that probably was fake. But I thought the shot of the octopus on the boat. I don't know.
Giant octopus never explained.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like nobody really was too concerned about it.
There wasn't any like story in this, it seemed like. It was just
well, the story is Frankenstein versus Baragon.
Everything happened so fast, there's not enough time for any sort of story.
And now there's two Frankensteins, and we're dealing with it.
Yeah.
I mean, to connect this back to Peter Cushing and his Frankenstein series, that goes off the rails, even being relevant to Frankenstein, but like the second movie anyway. So I don't know if that was a thing.
Frankenstein just doesn't have legs.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I think
like just.
At least that started with an actual Frankenstein. This didn't even have that.
It did.
Well,
but then they made like 7 of them, and then like the later 6 have nothing to do with the book.
So, okay, the conceit of Frankenstein in the Toho universe is that if you cut off part of his body, it'll grow a new body.
Right.
Apparently. So,
even though that's not true because they see it happen and then it doesn't happen.
But then it happens in this. So it's like we said, it's not clear whether the baby ape is a fresh Frankenstein that grew from a part of the previous Frankenstein, or if that's supposed to be the previous Frankenstein. But then
baby Sanda?
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be, right?
Okay. I don't know.
It is for sure, but we don't know.
I think that on my dub they explicitly tie that together. On the dub I saw, they explicitly say.
Okay.
I mean, that's,
all they had to do is say, "Oh, this monster grew from Frankenstein's hand that we cut off in the first movie."
If
you have to connect it to that movie.
But then there's this other green Frankenstein
That's never.
Who mostly lives underwater, and their best guess is that.
Oh right,
the original Frankenstein left some cells in the water that then grew into a water.
Oh,
Frankenstein?
the space Godzilla contrivance. Okay,
right. He scraped his cells off underwater in Tokyo.
What I'm referring to
lava is Frankenstein.
Maybe in this next one for sure.
Yeah.
That they continued the series.
What I'm referring to is that they never explain where the cells that created Space Godzilla came from. Was it Biolantes that flew off into space at the end of?
I think we can assume that.
Biolante, or was it when Mothra flew into space at the end of Godzilla versus Mothra?
Speaking of Biolante and Return of Ultraman, there is an episode of Return of Ultraman, I think it's 35 or 4 or something, about a crazy scientist who I think his son died or something, and maybe his son died, maybe not. But he makes a plant hybrid, animal plant hybrid monster. And the guy who wrote Godzilla vs. Biollante wrote that when he was in high school.
Oh,
so
I thought you were saying they were just similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
People love Biollante. It's not one of my favorites.
I don't remember really loving the movie, but it's a cool monster. I've seen it twice tops, and not for
another expensive purchase of mine.
Was it worth it?
The figure arts.
Yeah. Monster Arts.
I just
it was expensive it was expensive at the time, but it cost as much as the fucking header I bought last year. What the fuck's going on over there?
Now that movie I like.
Don't make me start buying Super 7.
Don't get into Super 7.
I already got one of them.
Did you see they got a 5 points Mechagodzilla box set coming out?
No.
I think the 5 points generally look really good and accurate, but I don't remember King Caesar looking the way the toy does. Somebody correct me. Anyway, this is this movie's fine.
Why the hell are you pronouncing it like that?
What?
Caesar?
Because that's how they say it in the dub.
Oh, right.
King Caesar.
Well, I'm the one that says
I've always said it.
So. I looked up Super 7 Caesar and it came up with.
It's not it's Mezco.
Well, why the fuck?
Mezco 5 points Godzilla. I don't know.
You don't remember him looking like this?
Not exactly.
That's what he looks like.
All right.
It looks like you either have the ears up and eyes looking normal, or ears down and eyes looking fucked up. Do I want this? How big is this?
It looks skinny to me. I don't know. It looks skinny and maybe not hairy enough from what I remember, and also the hair is too light. I don't know. We're on the podcast though, so.
Sorry.
Is there anything else to say about War of the Gargantuas?
I say watch it. And you can skip the first movie because the first movie is not as good as this.
Well, also,
and it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it.
You
can just watch this.
That's not
I still like Frankenstein Conquers the World okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I kind of would put them
2.5 out of 5.
I think this one's better in my book. I
like this
one better.
I think it's better, but just a little.
A solid 3 out of 5.
The monsters, I just really don't like the way the monsters look. They just look kind of dumb.
Just kind of boring to me.
I think they have a good amount of character. Like Gyra is a nasty one, and Sanda is a nice one, and Sanda doesn't approve of Gyra being nasty, so they fight.
Yeah. But they could have... I mean, I guess if they were wanting them to be moving around as quick and doing all the things that they could do, they had to be kind of like this.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
So what do you think about the ending?
I'm forgetting the ending already.
What was the ending?
What happened?
A volcano killed them both for no reason.
Yeah. Well,
And the movie ends.
that's why I said lava Frankenstein.
Did that happen in the first one?
Well, yes, but it's a volcano on land. Yeah, was like, did they trigger it or something? Like, I don't remember having a problem with it in the first one. And in this one, they sort of they're in the sea just sort of wrestling. And they just like carpet bomb them in the sea, and then a volcano comes out of the sea and kills them both, presumably.
Oh, right. Now I remember. There's just all of a sudden there's a shot of like a rock in the water and they're pulling out, and I had no idea what that was, and then the movie just ended.
Yeah.
It was either I couldn't tell if it was a rock or if it was one of them fucking floating dead on the surface of the water.
It's a strange ending. Like, it feels fake. You know, it doesn't really. At least in the previous film, like there was a lot of drama, and like it looked good, the volcano, and this is just like, well, the movie's over, and then
I thought that was funny.
The humans are like, well, the volcano erupted, nothing could have survived that. Yup, the end. It's really goofy and awkward.
I'm reading a summary and saying like maybe the military dropping bombs caused the volcano to erupt.
Maybe. Could be. Maybe the Frankensteins were made out of cells. Maybe they're, you know, there's a lot of maybes. They leave a lot to the audience. Maybe that's why all these smart filmmakers
melted
like
by
it.
The acid from the tears from the crying worms.
Could be. I like it more than I used to.
And you all lucked out because the day after we watched this, I found out that Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever is streaming on Disney Plus. Had I remembered that existed, that would have been my pick for Christmas movie.
Well, I'm glad you didn't remember. In 2012,
is it live action or is it animated? The Grumpy Cat.
It's live action.
Sorry, Ken.
Live action Grumpy Cat film.
I was going to say, in 2012, American actor Brad Pitt cited the film as inspiration to pursue acting. Academy Awards.
Come on. You're just making shit up now.
For the Gargantuas, the movie that made Brad Pitt an actor.
Are you for real?
I'm for real.
Why?
It's also an inspiration for Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I read that.
That makes sense.
And like Pacific Rim.
The film inspired parts of Quentin Tarantino's 2004 film Kill Bill Volume 2.
We should have checked out the trivia page more on this.
The fight scene between Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah, which Tarantino dubbed the War of the Blonde Gargantuas. The fuck? That guy's a freak.
That's a good little poster that I found here.
Apparently, it was the first film Brad Pitt ever saw, which is it made him
How's
want to
that
be an
possible? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well, this was from 1966. Let's see when Brad Pitt was born.
I thought Brad Pitt was
1963.
Older than that.
So he was 3 years old, maybe.
I think I saw movies before I was 3 years old, but
I think I did too.
Go off, Brad Pitt.
IMDb's trivia page says it's one of Nicolas Cage's favorite films, but there's no citation.
Well,
there,
that album.
You don't even need to cite that. I just believe that.
It's just there.
See also list of films featuring Frankenstein's monster, list of Japanese films of 1966, and list of killer octopus films.
My winning Blood Bowl team was based on the article list of films based on Frankenstein's monster. So good article. Thank you, Wikipedia. Well, shall we wrap up? It's a little short, but people have been telling us to go shorter. So, any Christmas wishes?
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Can I do my top 25 films now?
No, we'll do that next time.
Oh. All right.
Do you have a list prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Wait, 25 now?
Yeah.
You keep moving up the number.
Well, hold on. Let me pull out the list. I'm not gonna read it. Don't worry. I think it was my top 10. No, wait a minute. Where the hell is it? What the fuck?
Well, we've lost the list, so it'll have to be recreated from scratch.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Christmas. Where's my fucking list?
I don't think we're gonna get another episode in by the end of the year. What was the
probably not before the end of the year, no.
Top 15, bottom 7.
The bottom 7 is just every movie by that one guy, right?
Christopher Nolan, yeah. And then top 3 in high school that I no longer support.
Okay. We'll look forward to that in 2024. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Remove Film from Trey.
Merry Christmas.
Gift wrapping from gift. Good night.
Bye.